evening. I'm going to get everything set up. We're going to get going here. All right. Hopefully, we can make this work. I need to break out this other computer real quick. Oh, why can I not see anything here? Flip camera. There we go. Sorry, not the greatest. All right. That's not going to work for me. It's okay. I'll have to fire that up tomorrow. All right, everything looks like it's functioning okay. Let me jump over here real quick. Jump in here. I'm gonna let everybody know. All right. I actually meant to have a few things set up before we got to this point this evening, and I have just been unable to get that far today. So, uh, just welcome everybody to the chat. Welcome everybody live. This is my normal Thursday night live that we started a few weeks. I don't know, got about a month or so ago. So I appreciate you coming in and hanging out. If you're joining on TikTok, definitely come over to YouTube because you're going to be able to see what we're talking about better there than you will be here. Your comments may get lost a little bit over here on TikTok, so definitely highly recommend you join us on YouTube. Or if you're in the Discord, you could come. Nope, you're not going to see it in the Discord either. You're going to not be able to see the screen in the Discord either. You're just going to see me. Anyway, with all that being said, yeah, I hope everybody's having a great week. We're been busy pouring toys and working on this Avatar toy and everything else this week. And something I wanted to talk about this week that I felt might be kind of interesting to share with everybody is, a lot of people don't. I don't know that everybody always makes the connection between Cultured Fiction Labs and the toys we make and where that name comes from. So we take and we pull our toys from fictional sources, whether it be a book or movie, video games, folklore, mythology, whatever it may be, is kind of where we pull all these ideas from. And sometimes it's just something that I find entertaining, as in the drop bear. Um, Somebody today on TikTok had mentioned on one of our videos that they'd never why is there a koala on there? Well, that's a drop bear. That's not a koala. It's a drop bear. Why do we make a drop bear toy? Because it entertains me, and I think it's great. And I just wanted to do something because I just love the drop bear story. So, with all that being said, that's kind of where a lot of our toys come from. Is from those ideas, and so we're going to talk about that today of where our toys come from and what the ideas behind them are. There's probably some that I'm not going to touch on. We're going to touch on some, and lightly touch on others and that kind of stuff. So with that being said, let's just we'll kind of start at the 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 top here, and we'll talk about the Anubis. So the Anubis is basically the Egyptian god of the dead. Um, and this actually was brought to us by um, a person we actually worked with on the design from this. She really wanted to do this design, and she had this entire kind of thing worked out, and it really is a great design, and we're super happy that we worked with her on this. Um, but she understood where we were coming from and what we do and that kind of stuff, and she came to us with this from the start. And so we just always thought about this Anubis character, which I think is a great character. It's very iconic. Everybody knows who that is, even if they don't know that he is uh, you know his god status and what he is. I feel like this screen keeps like doing weird things down here on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, please join us over on YouTube. Please ask your questions. I am showing stuff on the screen, but I can't show it here. I just don't have the ability to show it here the way I am there. So anyway, Anubis is the god of funerary rites, protector of graves, basically the guide to the undead world. Um, so that's why you often see him associated with like the pyramids and stuff, which are basically fancy graves. So anyway, that's who Anubis is, and that's where that toy came from. Is really that story. She kind of had a character in mind originally, but that's kind of gotten lost a little bit over time. So let's go back down to the next one. Of course, let's talk about the Deathwing. So Deathwing is kind of our first dragon toy. And Deathwing is actually from World of Warcraft. I think I've seen people refer to it as just our dragon, that kind of stuff. But the original intent and inspiration for that was Deathwing from World of Warcraft, who was in the original game, Deathwing the Destroyer, and then I think he kind of disappeared for a little while and came back. Um, and that's where we pulled that design ideas from. And when we do a lot of this stuff, we sit and look at pictures of these creatures, and we kind of think about if you look at our Deathwing model, there's kind of these plates that come in like this. That's where some of these design elements come from. Is we really kind of look through these things, and let's see, let's do another search for Deathwing the Destroyer. So you can just see very hard lines, very organic, but very hard lines. And that's kind of what we tried to go for within this toy, was creating something that really crossed these hard lines and these shapes. You can see all this within the design of the toy. Um, you know what? Let me do this. I'm going to do this an easy way. I'm just going to pull these up in my slicer for now because it's the easiest, fastest. Oh, can't show that. Okay, let me get this open for you. Okay, we're going to come in here. We're going to switch this. Oh, that's fine. It doesn't matter. So I just want to look at what I want to do is be able to pull up and show some of the details on the Deathwing and relate them back to you, kind of where they came from. It should be the right file. So, um, oh, I shouldn't have done that. So if you look in here, you can kind of see these shapes and these patterns and this kind of hard lines intermixed with it. If you look back at this Deathwing destroyer, you will see some of those same types of shapes and patterns within him. I wish I could make this picture. Can we make this picture bigger, please? They're not cooperating. Um, anyway, that's kind of the story of where this Deathwing came from. World of Warcraft, Deathwing the Destroyer. So if you didn't know, now you know. Um, let's go on to the next one here. Drake. So this is one that I think a lot of people that probably get wrong. I think a lot of people assume uh, Drake, the musical artist, but it's actually not Drake from the musical artist. It is actually Drake from Uncharted. It's kind of the reason we chose to do Drake from Uncharted and do it in more in and do a realistic human for him is because Drake is kind of considered the everyman. He's not he's not anything overly special in any way. Um, let's see if we can find something. They'll talk about this probably. So he's literally kind of considered like he's not. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. He's quick-witted and immensely lucky, but and he has knowledge and stuff, but he's not like a superhero or over the top like muscular or just like he's an all around good balanced person. And he literally when they wrote the game and they made him, they literally that's one of the things they were going for was to make him kind of an every guy's guy. Like he is, you know, the average guy is basically what he is. He just happens to be good at what he does and he happens to be really lucky. So when we were thought about making this Drake, that's kind of what we were going for. We wanted something that was analogous to a human, that was not overly large. Now the extra large does get pretty thick, but it's not it's not over the top. You know, like some of our toys get really large. The Drake doesn't get quite as big. We're gonna talk about the drop bear. Now this one, it's just I just love this toy. Um, and I actually love the story behind it. This actually is Australian folklore, um, and I think they tend to like tour guides and stuff tend to tell visiting people about this. Um, but what they say it is it's because everybody loves koala bears. Who doesn't love a koala bear? Cute as can be, right? Not as cute as red pandas, but anyway, that's a different story. Um, the drop bear is basically a carnivorous koala, and the drop bear, what they say is the drop bear will drop out of the trees and attack you. So you got to keep an eye on the trees, make sure there's not a drop bear up there that's gonna jump down and get you. And you know uh, it's actually fairly new. Um, let's see. Yeah, imaginary animals commonly spoken about in tall tales designed to scare tourists. So, we took that idea because I don't know why I've always thought that was so funny that that is a thing. Um, but I did. And then, of course, we took it, and I don't know how many people know, but a koala has a bifurcated, yeah. So it kind of comes out and splits into two at the end. And So I was, and when we went to start designing this, I was like, well, this is like a koala on steroids, so it's got to have three, and that's where we came up with the design for three to have the three tips on the end of this. They're not quite in the configuration of a traditional koala because it would make the toy really difficult to use. Um, but I really wanted that feature to be there and be a part of it, and I think that's kind of what we accomplished with that toy. You can see these three tips up here, and these are all separate pieces that just kind of come off. Um, so that's where the drop bear came from. Let's see what else we got. Next is going to be okay. The enchanted dolphin. Now, I feel like every company has a dolphin, and I originally did not want to do it, and I had a lot of people asking me about it, and so I kind of set out on a mission, and I found the story of Boto Encantado, which is an Amazon River basin folklore that is actually still commonly talked about today, about a river dolphin. They have, if you're not aware, they have pink river dolphins um, in the Amazon. Uh, they're pink, I think, mainly because of what they eat. So Boto is, I think, Spanish for dolphin, enchanted dolphin, Boto Encantado. Um, let's see. Oh, look at this. The Legend of the Pink River Dolphin. Here we go. Uh, Interesting legend in the Amazon. It is believed that in the evening, the river dolphin can transform itself into a man, hypnotizing and seducing unsuspecting young women. Um, so it goes on to talk about there's the very common elements in this folklore is that the dolphin, when he transforms into a man, he retains his blowhole, so he wears a hat. He always wears a hat in the stories because he's got to cover the blowhole, so people don't know uh, that he's really a dolphin. Shape shifting dolphin, basically. And so my understanding is that people will younger women will come home and they may be pregnant, and when they tell their dad that they're pregnant, he wants to know who it is. Apparently, that's a worldwide phenomenon. And so, with that being said, the girls will often, if they don't want to say, will say it's Boto, referring to this folklore of the pink river dolphin or the enchanted dolphin. So that is, where we kind of pulled that story from, and came to the conclusion that we could do this toy and that I would be okay with it. Epona Stallion. Of course, everybody knows who Epona is. Epona is um, Link's horse. So here's the thing: is Epona is a girl horse. Epona is a female. So we kind of read back through it and a little bit about the history of Epona and that kind of stuff. And yeah, she's from the Lon Lon Ranch, and we kind of thought about, okay, well, if she's from the Lon Lon Ranch, she's definitely got some parents there, and that's kind of where we came to Epona's sire, to kind of make that leap to Zelda, um, from obviously something that we're familiar with. So again, it doesn't look traditionally like what most people assume that style of toy would excuse me, would look like. But we took those cues from Zelda. As a matter of fact, a lot of people I don't even realize like the base of it is actually like hundreds and probably thousands of tiny little triangles. It's kind of a repeating Triforce pattern over and over, which was something that was important for me to get into that toy. So One of those little things that a lot of people I don't think realize, but it's there. The Fawn. This was kind of an early design, and this is actually a redesign of the original. The first one, man, if anybody has one out there, I would probably trade them for one of the new ones for free if they would give that thing back to me and never let it see the light of day again. I was never truly happy with the design of it. It was early on. I needed to get the design out, and I wasn't sure how to fix it at the time. I wasn't sure what I really didn't like about it. I just didn't care for it. So we ended up, I don't know, a year or so later, maybe even 2 years later, we went back and really kind of did some redesign work on it. And we kept a lot of the original design features of the toy. We just made some subtle changes to it that I really felt made it's just a prettier toy, to be honest with you. It's a nicer looking toy. It's prettier. It's more functional. It's just kind of better all around. Um, but the Fawn was actually inspired by Pan's Labyrinth, which is probably one of my, I'd say top 10 films. Um, so from this guy here is kind of where he was inspired from. Fawns are known for being rather tricky. They can be helpful, but not always in the most convenient ways. Um, so that's kind of where that came from. Was from Pan's Labyrinth. It was is a toy that I just really loved that movie, and I really wanted to do something based off the Fawn. I am a little bit obsessed with that character. I think Guillermo del Toro did a great job designing this movie, and this character was really well thought out and really well done. So I wanted to do something for that. Let's see what's next on our list here. I'm going to skip these foreplays. Most of those are, the Fawn Torn. Originally, I really had thought about doing a foreplay model with everything we did. So every model would have its own foreplay that kind of matched with it. And it just, honestly, I mean for those toys to be simplistic, so I can sell them a little less expensively. So people that want to get into silicone toys, instead of something from the mom and pop shop, or not the mom and pop shop, from the corner store that's selling all the stuff that's imported and questionable authenticity and that kind of stuff. Um, I tried to really create something that we could sell at that price point, and so that's what those toys are and why they're made the way they are. Of course, Geralt is from The Witcher. Um, this is kind of a big toy for us. It's kind of something that helped really make people aware of who we were because The Witcher is super popular. Um, and, we still sell a lot of these Witcher toys. It's a great toy. It's very humanistic, but it's still a great toy. It does get rather large rather quickly, and that's something that I've kind of been toying around with on the Avatar. Do we possibly do a fifth size or not, so it doesn't spread so quickly? But I don't know. It's the more sizes we add, the more complex this whole procedure gets, and sometimes we have to make some decisions on that. Handsome Jack. Does anybody know where Handsome Jack came from? Handsome Jack is from Borderlands, which is actually I'd say one of my favorite games. I don't really play it much anymore. I didn't care for the third one as much as I did the first two. But the first one, I played a ton of, and all the DLCs, and like I played that game so much. What's up, Sloth? How you doing? Your favorite is the Solstice. So I haven't gotten to the Solstice yet, but I will get there shortly. Thanks for joining me. Um, so anyway, Handsome Jack is straight out of Borderlands, and if you know anything about Handsome Jack, he is a little bit narcissistic. He's a little bit proud of himself. So I don't think it's much of a stretch that he would be showing his junk off to the universe or making it available for everybody. Um, but he's a pretty smart guy. He's a pretty savvy guy. He doesn't necessarily have the best ethics, but but he's there. So that's Handsome Jack. Let's see, who do we got next? Okay, the Nakika, the first stroker we did. So the Nakika is basically no, not that. There we go. So it's the octopus god of the Gilbert Islands. Um, uh, in Micronesia and Aus- Austronesian mythology. So I don't know what Austronesian mythology is. I'll be real honest with you. But I wanted to do something tentacle like as a stroker because I had never seen it done. A lot of people make tentacle toys, and I will at some point make a tentacle toy. But I have something I want to like. I have a specific requirement for it before I can make it. And to be honest with you, I have not figured out quite how to pull off that specific requirement yet. Um, when I do, I will let you know, and you will see a tentacle toy, and it will be something special that nobody else is doing. So I promise you. I just got to figure out how to do it. Anyway, with that being said, um, the Nakika is a an octopus god. Gilman Islands. He was, I think, he was a protector, if I remember right. He used his arms to lift the earth from the bottom of the sea to form the islands. So basically, Nakika refers to Kraken, big octopus, Scandinavian folklore. Um, so anyway, that's where the Nakika came from. Um, of course, these two that are coming soon, we all know are the Avatar toys. We all know where they came from. This is something that honestly I had been talking about doing for quite a while. And then the new movie came out and it kind of refueled it. And then somebody else mentioned it to me. And so, yeah, it's just kind of has taken on a life of its own. And that is, this little thing here that we, oh, no, you can't see that. Hang on. So this little thing here that we did we talked about last week is the test piece for that, and this is I mean we're close. I was looking at some revisions today and making some more changes on that. So this toy is getting close. I would be willing to bet that this toy is done and ready for pre-production next week. That's what we're shooting next week. And it'll probably take about 2 weeks of production. We will rush through and get the first one in the small size done so that we can show y'all, and we'll probably do a small pre-order to get things rolling on that. So you will be able to pre-order in limited amounts. So those two are coming probably next week. Well, in a couple weeks. The solstice. This is what this is my friend Sloth's favorite. Um, this one and the symphony kind of came about as from some drawings that were done. We wanted to do something based on fairies and um, like a fairy that kind of can shapeshift into a flower to hide. I've always seen pictures of fairies like almost blending in because you don't see them because they're blending in, and that's kind of how I envision this. Um, and after a couple, there were several drawings put down, and we were looking through them, and honestly, two of them really kind of stood out, and I couldn't just leave the other one on the table. So, hey there, Pepe. Sorry, hard to see. You want to see what we're looking at? You're going to want to jump over to YouTube if you want to be able to see what we're looking at. I can't see my screen very well. Hang on a second. So, anyway, the Solstice and the Symphony came about as two fairies that I couldn't leave the other one behind. Had to bring them both on board. So the Solstice and Symphony were both brought on board as that. If you're joining here and you want to see what we're looking at on screen, if you'll join us on YouTube, or you can try to look in my glasses, but join us on YouTube, and I'm showing the screens, and we're talking about the origins of all these toys. Um, So anyway, that's the Solstice Symphony. They really, for me, little fairies that blend in. And I think what's great about those is that was what I had in mind. And I honestly believe that I could walk into a restaurant with one of those toys and set it on the table next to me while I ate. Nobody would have a fucking clue what it was. Um, so that's, one of those things that makes me really happy about it. The symbiote. The symbiote came from, obviously, Venom and Carnage. Um, I kept having people ask me about doing it. And so I sat down and I was like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to make this happen. And I knew there was another maker working on one. And I was like, okay, so what we don't want is to have two toys that look almost identical or close in some way that come out at the same time from two different makers. Like, I didn't see what they were working on. They didn't see what I was working on. To be honest with you, I'm not real sure what theirs came out looking like. I think I've seen it before, but I'm not entirely sure. I just know they were working. So anyway, we decided to incorporate the two. I just had to because I watched Venom and Carnage. It's like, man, we have to incorporate both these into one toy. And coming up with the dual tongues and more almost a yin yang style of mouth around them was really the solution that we were looking for to get that. And I think some people look at that toy and they're not sure how to use it. Let me tell you, plenty of people have ordered it, and I haven't had anybody come back and say I can't use this thing. Um, so I don't know if they've just bought it for decoration or if they're using it, but we've sold plenty of them and have not had any complaints. The Titan. Um, this is one that probably everybody will not be surprised from. It came from Attack on Titan. So I'm going to share something with y'all, and I hope you don't roast me, but I don't watch a ton of anime. Um, it's just I don't really have a reason I don't. But I did enjoy this series. I did not see the last season, but I did enjoy this series and watching through it. I really kind of wanted to go back and watch the last season and see what how Attack on Titan kind of wrapped up. I believe it's finished now, if I remember reading right. I do know the general story of it from the manga and stuff, but uh, yeah, that's where it came from, Attack on Titan. And I don't know that it kind of started out that way in my head. I kind of started the design, and I was thinking about this, but then it really just took on a life, and it really did just become the Titan. And it was the first time I will never forget it. It was the first time I did a toy that was really within that size range, and I was like, I told I told my business partner, I was like, let's only make one of these extra larges. I don't think we're going to sell very often. And it was the first one that sold, and it was within 15 minutes of putting it on sale, and I was just kind of blown away. So, yeah, we sold these in four sizes ever since, and we sell a pretty good array of all the sizes depending upon the user. So that is the Titan, and then last but not least, I believe, is the Trevor. And Trevor is another one that I don't think anybody really knows where it comes from. Um, but Trevor is Trevor Goodchild. No, not the movie. We got to go back a little further. Got to go back to the oh, come on. Let's see. So we got to go back to the good old MTV days. So this is probably I don't even know what year this was. It's got to be the '90s, right? Maybe. Oh, you can actually watch them. I used to have the whole set, and I think an ex got away with it, so I don't have it anymore. But which I'm kind of sad about. But anyway, um, Ian Flux was a cartoon back on MTV originally. Back when MTV actually had music, and I know it's a thing. And so anyway, her nemesis slash love interest was Trevor Goodchild, and I mean, she kept going after this guy over and over to kill him, to have sex with him, everything with him. She was obsessed with him in every shape or form. And so I always thought to myself like, man, that guy must be pretty amazing. So we designed the Trevor, and it was the first toy we did that grew in length rather than, a lot of our toys grow in X, Y, and Z. So they grow this way while growing this way. Okay. So the Trevor did not grow this way, it just grew this way. And, I wanted it to be about the right size to be used by a lot of people. Um, and just the length was variable. And that's kind of what we created with that. And I had an ex that basically told me that everybody should have one of these toys. Um, you know, the Trevor was definitely their favorite. So that's kind of where all the toys come from. Let's see here. So yeah, if you have any questions about where these toys came from and that kind of stuff, I am going to talk a little bit more about the. Let's see. Let's talk. Okay, first of all, if anybody here is in Austin, Texas, I am looking for some help tomorrow night. We're going to go out and we're going to try to do some more street interviews in downtown Austin. I've got the audio issue worked out that we had last time. That was not a fun deal, actually. So we have that worked out. So we should be good to go for tomorrow night. So if anybody's in Austin, Texas, and you'd like a free toy, I will definitely hook you up for a few hours of your time to go out and help us out with these street interviews. Cox will be filming. I'll be doing the interviews, and then we really would like to have another person there, basically holding a sign and trying to line people up and talking to people, so that maybe we can get in and out a little faster and get a little more content um, quickly. I don't know. This is only our second time doing it, so I will also put out a uh, I guess a call to action on that. So let's see what else we have. I have the actual final test, I believe, of the Avatar Stroker toy on the 3D printer right now. Now that print will not be done until kind of late tomorrow night, so it'll probably be Saturday morning before I'm able to really see results from it. So we should know for by Saturday afternoon if all that's going to work, which would put us on track to getting the finishing touches done. And once those finishes touches are done, that thing will be, ready. We're that close. The outer shape is done. We just have to make sure this all works the way we want it to work. If it works, we're good to go. We're almost there. We're almost home run on that one. And we're also making some small changes right now on the final of the Avatar insertable toy. Um, we're really close on that. Super close. All the tests are done. We know we can do what we want to do. Um, and we're just kind of trying to finalize out details now. We tried something on the testicles, and it was just, man, it's kind of scary, honestly. Like I didn't want it to be that scary, so we're not going to go with that one. Also, if you're joining us here on TikTok, I highly recommend you join us over on YouTube. Um, I've not shown anything on screen right now, but I can show more on screen over there, like the tip of the avatar is coming up. So if you're here and you want to see what the prototype of the tip of the avatar toy, which is special in itself, if you want to see that, just jump over to YouTube and join me on live there. It's youtube.com/ at cultured fiction and ask to see it. I'll show it to you. Um, so we're almost done with the design of both of those toys. They're very close. Probably, I really think we can have them wrapped up before the end of next week. If we have them wrapped up before the end of next week, it will probably take then another, week or so to get those done. Oh, the tails, the cat tails, the tail plugs. Okay, so I had to order some additional little parts, basically. So the hardware that we use for those. Normally, I'm able to get it locally, but they were out, so I had to order some more of these. They came in today, so I was not able to get those out. So they will be out next week. Everything's done, so they will all be out. I appreciate that fire you sent. Thank you. Um, they will be out next week. So the new plug will be out next week with at least I think 2 tails is what they're gonna have done for me. Um, I've got a girl who's doing that, and then shortly after that comes out, we also are making a pigtail for that that will go on that as well for all those interested in that. What else? What else? What's going on? We've had a lot, had a pretty productive week, man. We've got a lot of toys for it. I have been trying to go live some during the day while I'm pouring. Um, right now, I'm really snowed under and have not been able to do it every day, even when I've planned to. So I don't know what questions everybody have. Anybody have any questions? Sloth, you got any questions? Anybody on YouTube or even TikTok, if y'all have any questions, now's a great time to ask questions. Give everybody a few minutes, see if they got any questions for me. We can kind of go from there. Let's see who we got in here. I think I know who you are. Right, well, it doesn't look like anybody has anything tonight, question wise. So we may be wrapping this up a little early, which honestly is not a terrible thing because I'm kind of, I could use a small little break myself. But we will be back next Thursday at 8 Central. Like I said, if you're in Austin, Texas, and you're downtown Austin tomorrow, you have a chance to get a free toy if you show up and that kind of stuff. We'll be talking about that more on our TikTok tomorrow. And hopefully next week we'll have some of these street interviews. If you got questions that you think would be funny, please shoot them to me. You can hit our Discord. To get to our Discord, just go back a few videos on here, and there's a link to our Discord. Um, you can always ask me questions in there or reach me in there. And honestly, we got a pretty good crowd of people in there. We got several people that are actually talking pretty regularly in there, which is kind of nice. I've enjoyed having that. So anyway, I guess that's it for tonight. I will catch you guys. I'm sure I'll be on probably this weekend or by Monday at least. So if you don't see me online before then, something went wrong. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night. And this one.